Hey guys, what's up? It's Daniel, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do Project 1 in the SAM 2010 course. And Project 1 starts off in Microsoft Word, and we're going to be making this flyer today. So, first thing you're gonna want to do is go to the SAM course website, and since I've already done this project, it's no longer available to me, so I'm just going to use a separate project to show you the first beginning steps, because the first steps are all the same for every single project you're going to be doing. And the first step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on the project that you're working on, and it's going to come up with this page, and you're going to click OK, and then you're going to have a couple different folders come up. Normally it's only one up top and one down below, and the top one's going to be your instructions, and the bottom one is going to be the file that you're working on. And yes, you have to use this file. You can't just open up, your Word and start right off, and I'll show you why in just a second. So you might just download both of them, and then you're going to click on the one with your name on it, and you're going to click open. And one of the first steps it asks you to do is to save your project as something. And it's going to do this with every project you do at SAM. So again, this isn't what you're going to see exactly, but the file and the save is all the same stuff. So you're going to click File on the top left, and you're going to go to Save As, and this window is going to pop up, and it's going to ask you where you want to save your folder as, and you can decide where you want to save it, if you want it in a certain hard drive or if you want it on your desktop. That's up to you. But what SAM wants to really see is how this last digit comes up. So basically I had a 1 and an underscore and another 1 in parentheses, but what I want to do is I want to have just one underscore after my name, and then I want to have a 2 just like that. So that's all you have to do, and then you press save, and your file is going to be saved to your computer. And later on, when you submit your file, SAM looks for that number, so you have to have that in there just like that, or else the file won't be submitted correctly, and you'll get an error message probably that tells you can't submit it. Alright, so having done that, you're going to have your instructions up, and you're going to have your Microsoft Word up. And just to show you guys real quick, so I know what I'm doing, this is the score I got for the project, 100 out of 100, so I'm not just some kid, messing around on a computer. But this is what we're going to be making. The first step also asks you to verify that your name shows up on the bottom of the page. That's what this is down here. It says file created exclusively for Daniel Michael. Your name should be put there, and then these numbers to the right of it. That's just, you don't really have to worry about the numbers or anything. You're going to want to leave both of these alone. That's just so SAM recognizes that it's your file and belongs to this student kind of thing. So really just don't touch those at all, and don't worry about them. Okay, so getting out of this, the first step asks you to type the flyer text unformatted as shown in figure 1, and to make sure none of the words are misspelled or whatever, and correct them if they are. So I already did that just to save time, and I kind of just put them in order so I know how they go. But you do have to type out the text exactly as it says, with all the capitals in the right spot and the spaces. I don't think anything's really punctuated correctly. They're not really nitpicky about that on SAM, so you don't have to have a double space after your period or exclamation point or whatever, but you do have to have the capitals in the right spaces, and the periods and the colons and the semicolons and everything. So make sure you do all that, and if a word's flagged as misspelled, you can just right click on it and choose the right word. But you can't cut and copy and paste, because SAM has found some way to figure out when you do that you actually have to type it in. I know it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It's not really that hard. So once you've typed it in, it says center the headline studying all night. So that's the very top one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight it by clicking behind the ending question mark and holding and dragging to the beginning, and then to center it, that's this button at the top. When you leave your mouse hovering over it, it says center, so I'm going to do that. And it also says center the signature line, which is this one down here on the bottom. So I'm going to do the same thing. So those are centered now. And then it says change the theme colors to concourse. Note the theme font and theme effect should remain office. And so now I'm going to go up to the page layout menu, and my theme colors are going to be over here. See how the themes button is right here? It says current theme office. That's what I want. And I'm going to click on this little arrow just to the right of colors, and it's going to give me a drop down menu, and I'm going to select concourse and C. So now I know that this whole letter is going to be under the color scheme concourse, and my theme is still under office theme, which is exactly what it told me to do. So the next step says change the font size of the heading, or excuse me, the headline to 48 point. So I'm going to highlight the heading, which is studying all night. I'm going to go up here to the font size, and I'm going to click the arrow right of it, and it's going to give me another drop down menu, and this will change how big my font size is. So I want 48, so I'm going to hit 48, and then it also says for me to change the font to Comic Sans MS. So that's right next to the numbers, and you're going to have a whole bunch of different ones, but it's in alphabetical order. So you're just going to go down to C, and you're going to find Comic Sans MS, and you're going to click that one, and it's going to put that effect on your text. And then the next thing it says is apply the text effect called gradient fill dark red accent 6 inner shadow. Alright, so that's this little blue A, and there's an arrow right to the right of it, and I'm going to click that, and it's going to give me all these different looking A's, and I'm going to want to find it, I'm going to leave my mouse over them just to see what the names are, because they're going to pop up. It's going to say, you know, gradient fill gray, outline gray. Okay, I don't want that one, I want the red one. So you can already kind of guess which one it is if you're looking at the example already, but just to verify, it will pop up with the name and the inner shadow and all that. So that's the one I want. So I'm going to click that. It's also going to put that effect on the text. And it also reminds you that you need to complete step 4 before the dark red color becomes available. So it is important to do all these steps in order. That way you don't get mixed up and colors are where they're supposed to be, because if you don't, it might just get confusing and you will lose track of where you're at. So just do it in order. Okay, and then it says change the font size of the body copy between the headline and signature line to 20 point. So that is, here's the signature line, here's the body. So I'm going to highlight all of that. I'm going to go back up to my font size, and it wants 20 now, so I'm going to hit the 20, and that's going to largen it. And then it asks me to change the font of the body copy and signature lines to a rural. So now I'm going to include this one and highlight it, and I'm going to click a rural next, or however you say that, and that's also right next to where the little numbers are. That's your theme font. So now that I've done that, this text underneath the headline is going to be all in a rural. Alright, number 8, change the font size of the signature line to 22 point. So that's just this bottom line here. I'm going to go up to the little numbers, change it to 22, bada bing, bada boom, and then it says change the font color of the signature line to dark red accent 6. So this time I'm going to want to go to the little arrow, or I'm sorry, the little A with the red line under it, and I'm going to click the down arrow next to it, and I want, yeah, dark red accent 6. So, okay, just looking here, dark red accent 6. Doesn't say 50% darker, it just wants dark red accent 6. Which is right there, which is the very top one. So I'm going to click that one, and it's going to change the color of my signature line. And then it asks me to bold the text, so still having that highlighted, there's a little B up here. It stands for bold. As you can see, when I left the arrow, my mouse over it, it came up with bold. So I'm just going to click that, and you'll see it gets a little bit bolder. Now, let's see what's next. Bold the text. Alright, bullet the 3 lines, paragraphs, text above the signature line. So, that's from this line down. And what I'm going to do is up here, above the align text, is a bullet list. And you can see it says bullets. So you can have a whole selection of bullets. As you can see, if you click the down arrow, you don't really want to do that. You just want to click bullet. So you just click the actual button. You don't have to click the down arrow. And so that's going to put a bullet in front of classes are 15 per session, blah, blah, blah. So now that it's done it there, I'm going to just click down to the sessions, just right in front of the sessions, and I'm going to do the same thing. Click that, and then I'm going to click in front of classes, and I'm going to do the same thing, and it's going to bullet them, which is what that task asked for. And you can see, you can follow along as you're doing this, because the instructions actually give you an example, which is going to look like that. And you can see what you're doing and if you're doing it right and how you typed it, because it should be, you know, I could tell from what I'm doing that, like, you know, on the second line of the body text, and is the last word in the second line, and the third line starts with energy. So if it's mixed up and it says, you know, skills is the last word, and, you know, and is the first word of the third line, then I know I made a mistake or put too many spaces or something, and I have to go back and, you know, review. So you can follow along and make sure you're doing things right with that. Alright, back to the thing. Alright, it says bold the text, let us help you, and change the font color to dark red accent 6. Okay. So that's this part. I'm going to highlight just it. I'm going to bold it. And then I'm going to click the color again, and it wants just to double check dark red accent 6, so we know that that's the top one already, but still make sure it pops up like that. Okay, so now that that's done, the next step says underline the text Student Services Center. So that's right here. I'm going to highlight that, and up on the top left where the B is for bold, there's also a U that stands for underline, and there's a little underline underneath it, and I'm going to just press that button, and it's going to underline Student Services Center. Alright, now the next step asks you to change your view to 50%, and what that is this little scale down here in the bottom right corner, and there's a little drag bar that you can drag, and it's going to change how far, you know, how close you can get if you're blind, or, you know, that kind of thing. But it wants it at 50%. And the problem I had with this was that I couldn't see what I was doing, and it was kind of harder to click. So I left it, you know, at its default 90% or whatever. Or I guess it's at 100%. This is default. But you can skip this step until the end if you have problems seeing it, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm not blind or anything, it's just easier for me to see it like closer up. So this is one of the steps that you can skip over, but you have to make sure that you remember to do it at the very end, or else, you know, Sam is gonna mark it off as incorrect. So when you do actually do it, and you can choose to do it now if you want, you're going to just click the minus arrow, or you can use the drag bar, and it's going to be at 50%, which is going to look something like that. Okay, but again, I'm just going to leave it closer up so you can see what I'm doing and I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So that was the step zoom to 50% so that the entire page is visible in the document window. Alright, the next step says insert a blank line between the headline and the first body of the paragraph. Hint, move your cursor to the end of the headline and press enter. So this is the headline, it's all the way at the end behind the period. I'm going to press enter. It's going to insert a new line in between the studying all night and let us help you. And the reason that gap is so big is because when I pressed enter, all the settings from all the stuff that we did from this line also comes down to this line. But since you're not going to be typing anything now, that doesn't really matter. What it asks you to do is insert a picture of your choice into the blank line you just added and center the image. A sleeping student image named support blah 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 is available on the SAM website. So you probably would have downloaded that picture. You can use that picture if you choose to, or I think any picture would work. But either way, you're going to go up to the top left and click insert, and then you're going to want to go to picture, and it's going to come up with a list of where all your pictures can be, and you're going to go to the document where you save that picture, or you can go to a different picture if you want to. I'll just do this one for Pinnacle, which was a different program that I was using, but anyway, that doesn't matter. So there's my picture, and it says insert your picture into the blank line you just added and center the image. So with the image selected, and when it's selected, you're gonna have these points around the edges. You're going to center it. So you come back up to home, and then since it's already centered, that's good, but just to double check, make sure that when you click on this picture that the centered button is in the orange. That means that it's selected. Okay, so now that it's centered, you want to apply the soft edge oval picture style. Okay, so to apply any style to an image, you're going to want to go up to this pink part up top here, and underneath the picture tools there's a button that doesn't look like a button until your mouse is on it, but it's format, and you click that. Okay, and then it asks me to apply soft edge oval. So that's going to be down. So here's all my picture edging effects, and it wants me to do soft edge oval. So looking through all of these, you can see there's a whole bunch of different ones you can pick from. Obviously I want to pick the one that's an oval and that's a soft edge, so that's that one. And now my image is going to have a soft edge. And it also asks me to apply the glow effect called blue 5-point glow accent color 4 to the picture. So that requires effects, so picture effects I'm gonna go to, and then it's gonna go to glow. Oh, look at that. And so I can see, there's red, there's turquoise. So I'm going to go to the blue section, and I'm going to find the one that it wants. Blue 5-point glow. Accent color 4, which is right there. So I'm going to click that one, and it's going to put this blue edge around the picture, as you can see, which is close to what, actually it is what we wanted. Okay, apply the glow effect, and then it asks me to resize the picture so that the height is 3.8 inches. So, whoops, sorry, I went off the thing for a minute. So up here you can see I have my height and width measurements, and you can either use these arrows in the top right to change the size of your image, or you can just click the one that you want, and which is what I do, and I just type in 3.8, and it's going to automatically proportion the width with the height, so you don't really have to worry about that. But once you do that, you click enter, and it's going to automatically put your height to 3.8. Again, you can use the arrows if you feel more comfortable with that. Either way, you got to get it down to that measurement. And then it says the last thing to do is to add a page border shown in figure 2. So if you look at the figure in your directions, it's going to have this type of border on it, a long dash and 2 short dashes, and a long dash and 2 short dashes. Okay, so keeping this in mind, we're going to go to page layout, and there's a button in the middle that says page borders. You're going to click that. You're going to select the one that is in the example, which is this one, and you're going to want to switch it to color blue accent 4. So underneath where you select what the look looks like, there's your color chart again, and it wants blue accent for 40%. Oh, lighter 40%. Okay, so blue accent for lighter 40%. Lighter 60. Lighter 40. So that's the one I want. And then it wants me to also change the border to 3-point width, which is right underneath where you just selected the color. You can see that when I do this, it's going to change how big the border is. So I just click the down arrow next to it, and underneath that there's a selection that says 3-point, and I'm going to hit that. And over here it's going to show me what it's going to do. It's going to put a border around the text. That's what I want. So I click OK, and there's your border. So we just finished up everything. Now you can double check your work. You can make sure that your spelling's right by going to review and then grammar and spelling, and it's going to come up if you did it right. If not, then it's going to hit a red underline underneath one of the words. Make sure that you typed it word for word like you typed on the instructions, and again, your name should be on the bottom. It's not on this one because this isn't what I'm submitting, but that is how to do the first project of the SAM 2010 course. And this example looks a little different from yours because it doesn't have the same picture, but everything else should look the same. Make sure your lines end at the same place that the lines end in the example, and make sure you save your project. You can just go down to, since you've already saved it, you just click the save button now, and then when you go to upload your file again, it's gonna click browse over here, I think, or over here. You find your file, you submit it, and then it takes 2 or 3 minutes for the SAM system to grade it. It's an automatic type of thing, and then you should get a report under your results over here. You'll have to switch to projects, and it's going to come up with all your projects. So I hope that this was helpful, and I will be doing the other projects and trying to catch up to where I am with the SAM system right now, and eventually hopefully I'll have all of them out. Anyway, something important that I don't think I mentioned was that when you do every step in order, say for instance in one of these steps I didn't spell something the way that it asked me to spell it. So say I spelled you like this, which I wouldn't do, but still, say I did that. So not only on the step that it asks me to spell it is it gonna mark it off wrong, but remember the step when it asks me to change the color of this part to dark red accent whatever, it's gonna count that one wrong too because it can't find that word. So the SAM system hasn't really foolproofed their grading system. And if you have a good teacher, he or she should probably go in and do it manually and say, oh, well, he just spelled one word wrong, so that only counts as 1 point off. But if you, like I said, if you do one of these steps wrong, it can affect the next step, and if it does that, you might lose 15 points or something on this step, and then in addition to that, excuse me, you're going to lose the next step because it can't find that one word. So if this happens, check your work, review, and if you find, the problem and you say, oh, I needed it to be you, then you can see that when I did this step, it's going to fix the other step too. So really you only have to fix one step to correct the whole thing if you get what I'm getting at here. I know it's a little bit confusing, but just make sure that you spell everything out word for word with the right pronunciation and capitalization and all that, or else you can get a lot of the questions wrong just by doing one mistake. So now that I've finished everything, what I'm going to do is that last step that I took out because I couldn't see, I'm going to switch this view back to 50%, which is going to look like that, which is exactly what I wanted. So again, I will work on doing the next projects for you, and I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.